Hey everybody, it's Brian with Fandom. I am here with Brandon Ray, Fandom's senior fan engagement manager. We talk a lot about Star Wars, so I wanted to get with you today to talk about what happened on Twin Suns, the latest episode of Star Wars Rebels, where the fateful duel between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Maul finally took place. Real quickly for maybe the noobs or people that don't watch Rebels, give us like a quick history of Obi-Wan and Maul and how it relates to the episode.
Yeah, Maul was first introduced in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and we've learned throughout the years a lot about him, where this was a guy who was basically on top of the world. Like, when you think about characters like Count Dooku and Darth Vader, they represent what Darth Maul was supposed to be. He was going to be the champion, the apprentice to the Emperor, until he was cut down by Obi-Wan Kenobi in The Phantom Menace. So after that, we all thought he was dead until he came back during the Clone Wars TV series, and we learned that he'd spent years in exile, just kind of going crazy until his brother and the Night Sister, witches of Dathomir, found him and were able to restore his minds. But all he had at that point was thoughts of revenge. So he tried to build up this base of power to take on the Sith and try to take back a lot of what he lost. But he also wanted revenge against Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan was the one who took everything away from him. So when the Sith eventually won and the Empire came to power, and he thought Obi-Wan was dead, Darth Maul basically had nothing. He was lost in the wild for almost 20 years. So finally he found out that Obi-Wan Kenobi was still alive, and that's what brings us to Twin Suns and their final encounter.
Yeah, that's a lot of background, actually. Thanks for that. So the fight itself, actually, despite their long history together, was pretty short and sweet. I thought. I don't know. What did you think about it?
I liked it a lot. I think Darth Maul, what he was probably expecting in that moment was probably a lot of what the fans were expecting, that there'd be this big, showy duel in the desert. Maybe they'd jump around a little bit, clashing lightsabers for a few minutes. But it was all of three moves, and Darth Maul was cut down within about 5 seconds. And I think it really showed that Obi-Wan was more prepared for this than Maul was. If you actually watch the episode really closely, Maul used the move against Obi-Wan that Maul used to kill Qui-Gon Jinn, which was Obi-Wan's master in the Phantom Menace. So Obi-Wan had about 30 years to get ready for that move, and he cut him down in about 3 seconds, which I thought was great.
When they showed Luke Skywalker at the Lars homestead, like off in the distance, and the music played, I thought that was really cool. And that's the thing that I've been wanting from this series. Like for me, that could have been like the last. They could have saved that for the final episode. Obviously we're getting another season, so that's not the way it's going to end. But I really liked that. I dug it a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting from a storytelling perspective where, if you're watching Star Wars in order, you know that Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader has these kids, and that one of them is on Tatooine, but you don't really know what's going to happen later. So it's interesting setup in this episode to hear Obi-Wan talking about how he thinks Luke could potentially be the chosen one, and that idea even gives Darth Maul a little bit of hope, but it's misplaced hope. And what I thought was so interesting about Darth Maul kind of dying with this hope that he would be avenged through Luke Skywalker is that he came so close to really like believing in this idea of the chosen one and putting his faith in something other than violence and revenge, but he didn't quite make it. He still thought that Luke could represent revenge, whereas we eventually find out he represents redemption.
All right. Well, those are our thoughts on Twin Suns, Star Wars Rebels episode. We're going to have more about Star Wars Rebels and all things Star Wars here on Fandom in the coming weeks and months. So stay tuned for that. Brandon, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Brian.
And everybody else, thanks for watching.